Good morning, everyone. Can we all hear me?
Good morning. We can hear you.
All right, thank you. We do.
Good morning, we can hear you.
The delay, without wasting so much of time, we will just want Maria, if you are here, could you please lead us in prayer? Maria is our ICT and Communication Officer at TadFoundation. Maria? Okay, in the absence of Maria.
Good morning.
All right, Maria, please go ahead. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Maria is the ICT and Communication Officer of TadFoundation. She'll be leading us in the opening prayer this morning. Just a brief. Thank you, Maria. Over to you.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We're praying in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Our Father and our Lord, we thank you for a wonderful day like this. We thank you for the privilege of this gathering. We ask that you take control of this webinar, and we ask, oh Lord, for your wisdom through this section. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. All right. I'd just like to tell us a brief about TadFoundation. But first and foremost, thank you for joining this webinar themed Parenting in the Digital Age, Prospects and Challenges. But I would just like for a few of us to introduce TadFoundation to us, while some of us is just a reintroduction to what TadFoundation stands for. All right, TadFoundation is basically an NGO, not for profit, which is geared to empowering women, children, and youth. And the acronym is Tosin Abimbola Dukwesi Foundation. Now, at the inception of TadFoundation, the founder of TadFoundation, our passion was towards ensuring that vulnerable women, children, and youth are given a greater priority in our country, Nigeria, and not just only in Nigeria, but also across the globe, and particularly Africa, where we have peculiarity of issues that has to do with women being discriminated and the girl child, and issues that has to do with education of the girl child, empowerment that will lead to the woman being independent of herself and being able to take care of herself and her home. Now, our passion, or what the areas where TadFoundation focuses on, is skill acquisition and better livelihood. TadFoundation is also keen at health education for women and the girl child. We have had diverse interventions where we educated women on their health, menstrual hygiene, and how they could also live a good and healthy life. You can't talk about a good and healthy life without talking about nutrition. Nutrition is also key, and that's one of the areas we also look at in TadFoundation. And then education scholarship. We have looked areas where we have vulnerable children who are also on our scholarship schemes currently, both at primary and secondary level. We are also looking at the area of OVC. OVC is orphan and vulnerable children. These are the ones that also make up the education scholarship. Then we also deal with digital economy and technology. And then the core area also, which is youth empowerment, entrepreneurship, and employability. We realize that many people seek for white-collar jobs, but the best you can be is if you are employable, and then not just employable, but you can also be an entrepreneur to employ others and build our economy, not just depending on the government. And we're also looking at the area of leadership and good governance, where we advocate for better policies that will improve the well-being of the woman and the girl child. This is our journey so far. TadFoundation has not really been long in this space, But within the short time we have been in the space, these are little things which we have been able to achieve, being self-funded and not with support of others. We have had so many interventions. We had an intervention where we reached out to 55 women virtually. That was during International Women's Day 2023. We talked about women and the digital space, opportunities and barriers. And then we also had an intervention where we reached out to over 300 secondary school girls with sanitary pad kits. That was called Project PADHA at a particular government public school. Then we also went ahead. Our key areas are more rural areas and public schools, places where there are more vulnerability. We also did intervention at a one-day workshop which has to do with sexual harassment for across different secondary schools converging in a particular location here in FCT. We also had another one at Gogolada, a day secondary school, where we reach out with menstrual hygiene kit to over 750 secondary school girls. This was in partnership with Part of Africa and 4 other NGOs. And then we also had one interesting one where we empowered indigent women in rural communities in Abuja here. It was a one-day workshop on how to make reusable pad that they could use for their household and then also make livelihood out of it. Then we also had, Then recently we also had a 145 women and girls reach out to at Jikwe community, and that was in 2024. And then we also had 33 women also reach out to on how to make liquid soap and Vaseline. And then recently, last year, we reached out to School for the Blind, and we had a donation of 35 mobility canes and 50 pack of Berlin paper. This was funded by Led a Hand in partnership with TadFoundation. And on, because of time, I will just stop at this place. These are photo excerpts of what we have done. These are just a few picture excerpts of what we have done, our programs, and how God has helped us to reach out to a few persons. This is a work for part creating an awareness. This was when they were training the women on the one day how to make reusable sanitary pad. So this is where we are, and we indulge you to support us, partner with us. Joining a webinar like this is also part of partnership, and then making us well known, and then your support, either in kind or in resources, could also go a long way to reach out to more vulnerable women and children. And thank you so much for your time and your audience. All right, before I hand over to our moderator, I would like to introduce her. Let me just read a brief about her. She's a passionate children coach, family counselor, life coach, and mental health first aider. She's popularly known as children confidence building and communication coach, the lead trainer at Danica Consult Public Speaking Academy. That's DACOSA. She's a serial text organizer, TED speaker, and trainer of communication champions. She has also authored transformational books titled Raising Confident Children and Parenting Partners, which are on Amazon. You can get those books on Amazon. She's happily married with children, and she's a wife of one husband. Please help me welcome Ikalone. Udu, I hope I pronounced the name well. Please help me welcome her. You could just clap with your emojis as we welcome her. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And happy Children's Day in advance. I'm delighted to be here. I want to welcome you all specially. Thank you all for joining. Today is a very special day as we prepare towards the Children's Day celebration coming up next week. And Tad thought it wise to engage parents and stakeholders to discuss this very important topic: parenting in the digital age, prospects and challenges. And before I introduce our first speaker, we have some housekeeping rules. Kindly keep your microphones mute. Also, your videos closed. At the end, we'll all show our lovely faces to take some pictures. Thank you so much. Our first speaker is a leading Nigerian ICT broadcast journalist, economy advocate, an entrepreneur recognized as a pioneer of technology broadcasting in Nigeria, with over 2 decades of experience. He is widely regarded as a key figure in reporting and shaping ICT policies in Africa. He is the only African to have won the UNECA AISI Awards for Research and Development on the continent. I think that deserves a round of applause, virtual round of applause. He has served in data harmonization committees of the Nigerian government and cybersecurity advisory committee for the Senate. He is the founder of Digivination Network and Cybersecurity Africa for the propagation of ICT skills and development. Ladies and gentlemen here present, please welcome Dr. Bayero Agabi. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. Please, you have the virtual platform. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Doctor, we can hear you.
Can you? Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And let me just start from the last word. The word is digivation. That is digital innovation. That is 2 words in one. The coinage. Okay. I am so pleased to be here this morning, and it's a huge opportunity to be part of this movement, to transform Africa, all of us, our youth, parents, towards a greater, environment. And now to the issue at stake today, that is, digital parenting or parenting in a digital age, the challenges and the prospects. Is a huge and a wide issue, topic that is really sweeping around the world. Before he was kind of, let me use a palace word, kind of swag, that my kids have smartphones, they can take them to school and all of that. So when your son has smartphone, you feel good, and he or she feel good. But we have seen in recent times that we are raising kids today, that from when they are born and from the age of 5, digital arena, they are natives. We are immigrants. They are digital natives. They were born into it. So they have opportunity of using so many tools that can assist them in both negative, and positive. For instance, we raise kids today, which means navigating a world where screens, apps, and algorithms are part of the daily lives, from the earliest years. Unlike previous generations, children now grow up with instant access to information. Connectivity brings new risks, cyberbullying, misinformation, exposure.
Please, let's give him some time to come back online. Thank you. Please unmute your device, sir. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what went wrong? The speed went down.
Network, yes. Digital network.
Okay, it's okay. So let me just start from where I stopped. So I said that our kids, the natives, the digital natives, are born into it, so, and they are exposed to a lot of, apps, that they can use for various things that their parents never had access to. Okay, and I know that this conversation is not to discourage people from using technology, but to encourage people to use technology responsibly in such a way that it can promote development, knowledge, and skill. So I think that is the path that that I like to take. Before now, parents were involved in setting boundaries. Their words, like values, in the digital age. Those were now extend into most parents that cannot keep up, faster. They evolve faster, than parents, can keep up with. So kids today, as I said, are digital natives. They have learned to swap from one app to the other. It's what I would call, a paradigm shift from, if you are not careful in your home or in some homes, kids have become parents, while parents have become kids. Because let me just, like somebody said last week when we were having similar conversation, where a mom or a dad can sit in his or her living room and the child is up somewhere in his or her room, and then you call your child. He comes and he says, please give me that remote control. And the guy will be looking, what's wrong with that? Or mom. You're giving the boy brings up the remote control and you tell him, please, I want to watch channel, so. So those are signs that the power of the digital age has been pushed to the kids. So the challenge here for parents is that even if you cannot run as fast as your kids, ensure that you are intentional about it, to know, at least to an appreciable level, of what your kids know about the digital space. Because otherwise, other people are going to parent them from other regions. Your child can return from school, say hi, dad, ma'am, and then walk into his or her room, and then speaking with someone in Australia. I have an experience of a kid in the US who, when she returns from school, she will just go into her room and then the parents will leave her. So until I came visiting and I asked for the girl she's always inside her room. So I went into her room, having a conversation with her. Let me fast forward. I realized that the person she was always chatting with and believing in so much, this girl was just 14 years old. So these are some of the things, that have come up as serious challenges to parenting today. So the keys to parenting today are different from the keys to parenting yesterday. So the values you had yesterday are being modernized. No, let's not use the word modernized now. Have been refocused, redressed in different forms. So you go on TikTok, you go on Instagram, what you see is not pleasant. I have had a situation to address female gandry, and I asked all of them, they were over 2,000, and I asked all of them, if any one of you that is happy with what he or she sees on the social media, please raise your hand. Not even one. Not even one. So there's need to moderate, not regulate. There's need to moderate because we are a country of values, culture, and tradition. So we know how we were brought up, so we have to moderate some of those things, working with the network providers, working with those who are in charge of like NOA, our cultural, system and all that. So we have to really work with all of these government institutions. I think I want to stop here, but I have quite a lot to say. Let me also hear from other speakers, if that is okay. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, Doctor.
Hello?
Hello, sir. We would love
Hello.
you. It's not a, can you hear me, sir? Yes, sir. It's not a panel
Did you hear me?
session. Yes, sir. So it's not a panel session. It's actually you and another speaker. So you can please go ahead and finish
Okay.
while we take note of our questions. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So be that as it may, there are also games. And those games are also quite key. Those games come from the easy to learning, creativity. These sources are also coming from the digital arena. These platforms like the Academy, YouTube, education, and all that. They use about 2021, that are using these tools, and they make more money than their parents. And actually have education from your bedroom. You can actually, if a child is probing enough, he or she can actually know many things that the teacher will not know. I also have an example of a colleague that we used to work together years back, and he went to Ibadan to do his PhD, and he said, that these lecturers don't know anything. I said, what happened? He said they gave them questions, and then he just went on the internet and Googled some of those things, some from ChatGPT and the rest of them, and then he worked them, and submitted those things. When other people submitted, he became the star in the class. Meanwhile, he didn't even know what he did. So that is the bad part of it, that the teachers will have to also cope with. So you have to learn much more. And then convenience, and connection, parents-child connection. Technology also helps in that. Maybe if you are not in the same location, so connection, child-parent connection. So you can also use video calls, you can share apps, family can stay in touch, village, you can stay connected. Okay, so even though we know that physical connection still brings much more of familiarity and love than just virtual, it does exist where we cannot see ourselves. So skills building for the future, we have seen there are quite a lot of skills, like AI, for instance, like cyber security, for instance. These are skills of the future. We call them, we call the future of work. They are categorized, under future of work. Under future of work, we also have future of industries. So a lot of industries are going to go under. A lot of skills are going under. A lot of skills are being released, but new skills have been developed, by using, technological innovation. So these are things that parents and children can take advantage of, to make them scale very quickly. And so where it gets hard is this, safety and mental health risk. There have been series of research shown that overuse of this, of them, some of the illnesses that we see today that are pretty new, like neurological issues with our hands and even brain. That the one that came up recently is that this generation is breeding dummy or dumb people. Because a lot of us, if we left school, we never read the book that we studied. We never read any book concerning the course that we studied. So, and it is easier for us to just go on social media and consume the good and the bad and the ugly. Because some of those people you see on social media, they just Google things and then they just come on social media, maybe on TikTok, and they just say them to get followers. And our kids listen to them and they think they are saying the right thing. So there's need for parents to be intentional. Know up to an appreciable level of what your kids know about the social media. Don't say social media is bad. No, it's not all bad, because some of the great organizations that you know are also on all of these channels that you are talking about. So we have people who have constituted themselves as predators, and then we have scams, we have online grooming, we have sextortion, we have financial scams. They target minors, games, and social platforms. So they come as games, and the children play those games to this extent that they can't get back. So they now see the evil in it. That evil in it comes as cartoons for them to enjoy. And before you know it, they are different children entirely. So, and attention must be paid. And then there are some concerns, which reduce attention. So that attention span is you are not able to stay on a particular thing and digest it and read it and understand it properly, because there are so many flips that you just can do within a minute. It's because as you're reading one, another thing is popping up. And so it reduces attention spans, constant notification, and short form content can make sustained focus harder. Sleep disruption, blue light, and late night scrolling interfere with sleep, which affects mood, learning, and health. So these are some of the things that are bothering parents, that have become huge headaches to parents and guardians alike. This reduced face to a major issue. A family will be seated in one living room, all of them are on their phone. So in the end, they end up not having any conversation at all until they disperse and everyone goes home. So some might be watching TV, others are on their phone. So they never have a conversation until they leave. And that connection, the family connection that brought them together, and say, okay, today let's have this good connection. That thing is defeated. So, and then there is another parent-specific strain, that is the gap. Many parents or don't understand the platform their kids use, creating a power imbalance and trust issue. So that means your kids have become much more intelligent, than you are. They are more in terms of digital, space than you are. Whether we like it or not, whatever job you do these days, you are part of the digital space. The only difference now is that you either be an immigrant or you are a native. But I will advise that no matter how old you are, ensure that you train and retrain yourself so that you can keep up at least close to what your kids know. Because if you don't, you cannot regulate or moderate what you don't know. Because if you go close to your kids, they can tell you what they are not doing. And there's no way you can verify whether it's true or not. So what may successfully as strategies, there's so much, and so let me just make it brief, So some of the key takeaways in that you do not need to be a tech expert to parent well in a digital age. You need to be curious, present, and willing to learn alongside your kids on skills over restrictions. Every app. Trust between you, and the way you can do that is to ensure that you know what they know. And then parents in the digital age parenting a digital age, really, I tell you this, it's harder in some ways and easier in others. Fully access to guiding you. Kids who know up to the guardians enter both the benefits of technology just to use it well. So I'm going to say, and I'd like to just state here that with all of these challenges, the good and the bad and the ugly and all of that, countries that we call as countries, are beginning to take up, field measures to ensure that they reduce all of this. Like France, for instance, they've come up with a policy to reduce screen time. Even in the US, they are debating it. Russia, they have done that. Greece, Denmark, Indonesia, they have all done. Then Australia, the very last, what they have reduced their screen time, in such a way that it will be safer. And if you're not 16, you cannot use a smartphone. But in Nigeria, it's a show off, that my child, is smart, can tell you that will be more. Most schools, what they do, not in Nigeria, the ones I know outside Nigeria, is to ensure there's computer in every desk of a child. So when you come to school, you have a computer in your front, and that computer is networked to every other computer. You cannot have any email from outside. You cannot go on TikTok. You cannot go on Instagram. You cannot go on any other whatever, except that which is designed for the school and for the school children to learn. So those are the things they do. They don't not allow a smartphone. If you are a kid less than 16 and you come to school with your smartphone, some schools will seize it, and then they will send a warning to your parents. If it happens again, you get a stricter punishment for that. So my recommendation will be that we should follow this line to ensure that we reduce our screen time for our children, because we see our children, they are completely on screen all day long and all of that. So it affects sight, it affects, brings about headaches, a lot of other things that are not just good for our kids. So in conclusion, I'd like to say before that, that UK too is also considering the Australia-style ban of under 16 standards and age checks for harmful content. No blanket ban yet, but it's been considered. Then China, minor cannot have access. Even when they do have access, the screen time is limited very severely. India is the same thing, Malaysia is the same thing, and then the entire EU, they also doing that. So in Nigeria, we just leave the windows and then the atmosphere open for any child and everyone. Just do what you like. And then when we see them dancing naked on our social media tomorrow, they are our sisters. They are going to grow up tomorrow to have children. And the internet does not forget. So you just imagine a mother or a girl today dancing naked on social media just to get followers. And then by tomorrow, his or her own child has grown up to become maybe MD of a company or try to contest for a political position. That video will come up. Is that woman going to be proud of what she did or creating a footprint for his or her child? You see a lot of women, they bring up their children, a child that is just 3 years old, maybe 1 year old, not wearing anything. They put the child's picture or video online. When that child grows up and that video comes up, is the child going to be happy about that photo or video? The answer is no. So you're creating a digital path for a child that he or she is not going to be proud of tomorrow. So my advice is that allow your children grow up. They will create their own digital path for ourselves. Let them create their own digital, element in such a way that it is their responsibility. So whether good or bad, anything that comes out of it, it is their responsibility. So do not, as a parent, take all those, path for your children because it will remain there forever. So for me to stop here now, please, as much as possible, the digital age is shifting up. So most new laws set the floor at 15, 16, not 13. Australia was first at 16. So platforms are liable, not kids. So no penalties for under 16, or who access accounts or whatever. So what am I saying here is for the Nigerian government to call the network providers, sit them down in a room with the culture of arts, national culture of arts and the society also, and then the Ministry of Information, and then NICO, and all those cultural and then values, whatever, those agencies together in a room and tell them, this is the way we want to be seen online. So anything posted that is not in line with our value system, please, it should not come up. That is what Dubai is doing. Like if you are in Dubai, you cannot use your WhatsApp. You can't do video call on your WhatsApp. And we still go there to enjoy ourselves. Okay? There are so many other countries like that, even in Ethiopia that is Africa. So you can't do video call, over the top, whatever we call them, So I think Nigeria should not just leave it open in that manner. We should manage them, we should moderate them. Like I said, I don't want to use the word, I don't want to use the word. Maybe you should, let's just moderate those channels. So let us work with them. Facebook, TikTok, they are all in Nigeria. Microsoft and all that, sit down with them. These are the kind of things, if this is too explosive for our children, for our society, if anybody posts it, it should not come up. If it comes up, we'll find you. So it's not something to debate. It's something that they can do within the confines of their offices. Just call them. This is what we want. This is how we want our country to be. And then on the very last line, if we do not moderate our social media space to moderators. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Agabi. Please put your
Are you
hands
there?
together. Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together. Thank you. Thank you. So we would like to plead with you, sir. Don't run off yet. We have questions. So we're going straight to our next speaker. Our next speaker is a marriage and relationship counselor. She is a speaker and author. She is a professional member of the Counseling Association of Nigeria and currently serves as the pastoral counselor at the International Community School, Abuja. She is the author of various books titled Broken and Whole, The Teenager's Guide to Happiness, Dealing with the Spirit of Rejection, and Guard Your Unity. She is passionate about helping individuals become the healthiest versions of themselves and thrive in their love lives, emotional well-being, and relationships. Through her counseling, speaking, engagements, and writing, she equips people with practical tools to build stronger connections, heal emotionally, and cultivate fulfilling relationships. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Vanessa Inyang. Vanessa Inyang, you're welcome.
I'm so sorry. Can you hear me? As
Yes, we can.
Internet.
Yes, we can. We can hear you. Please go on. These are the challenges that come with the digital world. Interruptions during very important meetings like this. Please, let's give us some time. I'm sure she will soon be up. But while we are waiting for her, please, participants, drop your questions in the chat room so our first speaker can be getting the answers ready. You're welcome.
Thank
Vanessa
you. I've been on the
Inyang.
call since he was speaking, and then it's time for me to speak, and it just keeps logging me out. I'm so sorry, everybody. All right, so I'll just go straight to it. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. It's awesome being here. I want to just start by saying that I want to first of all appreciate my heartfelt appreciation, or express my appreciation to leadership for extending this warm invitation and for giving me the opportunity to be part of this event, this moment, because I know that it's going to change a lot of things for all of us. But before I dive into the data of everything, let me start by asking a dangerous question. And you don't have to unmute to give me your honest answer. Just show me your hand or your emojis in the chat. How many of us have ever handed a child a smartphone or an iPad or any device just so that we can take a break, breathe, work, cook, or just have some sanity for like 10, 20, 30 minutes? Let me see your responses, please, everybody. You've given your child your phone, whatever it is, just so that you can have a breather. Let me just see your responses in the chat before I continue so that I know that I'm in the right place. So you can show your hands or you can comment in the comment section. Anybody? Can you all hear me still? Okay, I've seen one hand. Thank you. I'm seeing responses. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. At least I've gotten 3 responses, so I'm in the right place. Any more responses? Okay, thank you, Rekia. Thank you for responding. Who else? I'll wait for 2 more responses and I'll go. Don't worry, my talk is going to be straight to the point and children. So I understand how interesting it is, and I've watched what digitalization has actually done to people, because I've watched some of these kids, grow in the past couple of years. So we're going to be having a very, very practical, honest conversation. But let me know that you can still hear me. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Hello. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. So let's be very honest, okay? Technology has become like a third parent in modern homes in today's world. And the truth about it is that in some households, technology is actually the first parents. And so children are waking up and their good morning routine sounds less like good morning, mommy, and good morning, daddy, to where's my iPad? As little as 3-year-olds, 2-year-olds, they already know how to use their devices and they don't need you to control it for them. So let me just start by telling you, I like to tell stories. Okay, so I'll start by telling you a story about, let's call him Ben. And let's say that he's 14. And so Ben is a good kid, very good kid from a very great family. And his parents love him so much. And they taught him how to, they thought that they had a handle on how to on technology. And they checked his phone every Sunday night, saw some social media apps, and everything just looked really, really clean. But behind closed doors, Ben was actually drowning. He had some games on his phone. Once they think that he's in bed, he's playing playing games until, early in the morning, and that's a school night. Okay. And so he was becoming a ghost in his own home. They hardly had conversations with him. He was easily irritated. His grades were dropping. And he was completely, like, even if they were at family gatherings, he would not participate because he had his earphones plugged in and his eyes glued to his screen. Now, what his parents did not realize is that teenagers today don't just use applications that they know, like they know exactly, they don't know how to hide, or how do I say that? Teenagers today don't just use apps, they know exactly how to hide the apps that they use. So Ben downloaded like a fake calculator app, and then on the home screen, it looks like a normal calculator. When you type in a secret code, it opens up to an app that is for secret messaging. Okay, so in that hidden vault, Ben was talking to strangers online and he was looking for validation. So what he was not getting from home, he was looking for it from strangers. And when that made him too anxious, he would spend hours late at night talking to an AI chatbot. Literally, AI friend, okay, because real world friendship was too difficult for him to maintain and sustain. So by the time his parents brought him to see me, yeah, they were heartbroken. They said, okay, we check his phone. How did we miss this? And then I just looked at them and said, you didn't miss it because you're bad parents. You miss it because you're looking at the screen, but you need to be looking at the child. Okay, so screens themselves are not evil. We need to establish that technology is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. So how do we navigate that? How do we help our kids in this digital world? How do we raise humans who are balanced? Okay, so it in itself is not evil, And if it was evil, half of us on this call would all need interventions. Am I right? So this conversation is not saying that I'm not trying to demonize devices or the internet or whatever, or pretend that we can raise children that like the way it was in the 90s. No, I'm not trying to say that, because we actually can't. But the real question that we need to be asking ourselves today is, who is training our children? Who is training who? Is the child training the technology? Is the child using technology as a tool? Are we training our children with technology, or is technology becoming the parent of these children? Because it actually, no matter how you look at it, it actively shapes the child's life. Okay. So to understand what is happening, we have to look under the hood, okay, and see how the mind actually develops. As a counselor, I often tell parents that a child's brain is like wet cement. So whatever presses into it repeatedly leaves a permanent mark. So right now, the digital world is pressing into that cement at an unprecedented rate, like what has ever happened before. So every swipe, every mindless scrolling, every rapid transition, every cartoon transition, every video game, it delivers a tiny burst of dopamine to the brain. The brain's this, or give me more of this kind of chemical. Okay, so modern apps, they are essentially, they've wrapped them into colorful cartoons, very engaging stuff that's keeps the child's attention wrapped up and all of that. So, and this, the way that they engineer these tools is very brilliant. And for example, a parent whose job is very whose job takes up their time, and they give their children like devices to keep and to keep them busy. And once you start it like that, right, it's very, very hard, especially when you don't have a structure to maintain. Okay, no, this time is for reading, this time is for watching something, this time is for you to nap, this time is for you to do activities. Once you don't have those structures in place, it kind of alters the child's development, and then they become very dependent on what is available, especially when you don't provide an alternative. Okay, so it's a very simple reality, but it's very profound. If a child continues to consume a particular kind of content, and they are used to speed, anything else apart from that, would feel slow to them. Have your child ever come? Has your child ever come to you to say that, "Oh, mommy, I'm bored," and then the next thing they are looking for is an iPad? Boredom is not a bad thing; it's part of life. So we need to understand that there are different experiences, different emotions that God has given us, and we just need to learn how to train ourselves to navigate those emotions and not just use something to just replace it immediately. I'll give you some practical tools. So I don't want to just go through, just so that you understand where I'm coming from. Okay, and then now, so like that, okay, let's talk about behavior, because this is where the rubber meets the road. So have you noticed this share, like there's where it's so intense? Like for me, I used to like sugar so much. For me, I couldn't take particular things without sugar. Okay, but have you noticed that devices are like that? And the moment you take it, like you take a lollipop away from a child, they start screaming because they are used to, they like that sugar. Okay, it's the same way that you take a device right now, they become irritable, there's emotional meltdown, they're throwing tantrums here and there and all of that. So I hear people call this bad behavior or disobedience, but it's not actually. It's just that the brain is overstimulated and they don't like the fact that you're taking away what they like from them. So screen is like sugar. It's a digital equivalent of sugar, and it's like a bit of a treat. If you give them too much of it, the brain will experience a massive crash, sort of. Okay, has it happened to you when you take so much sugar and then you just have you just a crash? Either you sleep during work time or something. You just need to just top up on that high that you remember feeling. That's the same way that it is for kids when they're using some of these devices or these apps or these tools. So they learn. And we need to be teaching them things like emotional regulation, how to set their goals, how to have timelines, how to have daily routines. Because if you don't have these things in place for them, they will take the alternative, and that is just to remain glued to the screen for a long period of time. We need to teach them emotional regulation. Life is going to have different aspects of it, and they need to learn how to maintain eye contact with people. They need to learn how to have conversations with people. They need to learn how to wait for something. It's called delayed gratification. They need to learn how to navigate boredom, because boredom is part of life. Even us adults, we get bored too. And that's why, because we've not learned a healthier alternative, the next thing is to put on the TV screen or just pick your phone and start doing mindless scrolling. Okay, so if we want to help them, we need to teach them how, we need to give them exercises that can teach them emotional resilience. Because if it's too available and they're so used to fast internet, fast device, fast loading, this one's available for them, they will not learn how to wait their turn. They will not learn how to when you're telling them no, they don't understand. They feel like you're being wicked and mean to them. But these things are all part of life. So think about when you were a child, for example, when you were bored, you had to get creative. We used to invent games outside our houses. Do you understand? We used to do a lot of things that made us and we had fun doing it because we didn't have the alternative of the screen. Okay. And so, but today, if Wi-Fi is slow for like 5 seconds, children are already looking as if their life has lost all its meaning and the color of life has gone out of, from what their world, is to them. All right. So as they're growing into, as children grow into preteens and even teenagers, the thing is the behaviors move from tantrums and they start having mental health issues. And attention span is another thing on its own. It has they have very, very, very short attention spans these days. And it's worse, like even older children are now comparing themselves, to they're comparing their unfiltered beauty or handsome to up as their best selves, all made up and everything on social media. So it's just cycle is just crazy. And I know that as you're listening to me, you can see, even if it didn't happen to you or maybe your own child, a child that you also have influence over some of the things that I have said and I've been saying for the past couple of minutes. Now, um, screen addiction is real. It's as real as it gets. Like some people cannot do anything. Sometimes you meet, children who did not sleep all through the night and they have to be in class. They can't even concentrate and they're sleeping. So even if you're teaching them something very, very important, they didn't get it. And sometimes you even when you now give a test or you try to do oral questioning and all of that, they cannot answer you because they're not paying attention. Why? When they're supposed to be resting or sleeping or doing something else or more creative or reading or whatever, they've replaced that time with the screen, you know. And sometimes they use it to escape what their world feels like. So they don't feel loved at home or they don't feel appreciated and they feel like they're good at these things. Okay, let me give my attention to what I'm good at. And so we have to be present as parents, present to validate these children, present to spend time with them, present to not so that these things don't become the third parents or even the first parents where they are concerned. All right. So the parents, we have responsibilities. So how do we pivot? How do we navigate this situation? First of all, starts by taking ownership. So before we go talk about what we should start doing, let's talk about 3 things that we need to stop doing immediately. So I hope you're taking notes. And if you're taking notes, please put it in the comment section. So stop using screen as permanent emotional sedation. The screen time is not supposed to make them leave you alone. You want the child they're trying to talk to you and you're pushing them away and giving them the screen. Stop doing that. Stop giving your children screen time or digital use to calm them down because they are crying or because they're throwing a tantrum. And then throwing a tantrum is a normal thing. They throw the tantrum. Find a healthier alternative. You can color, you can paint. There are other more. You can read a book and give you summary. I'll talk about that shortly. There are other things to do, than just giving them the screen and let them just play a game. We cannot solve every crying episode or every moment of boredom by just giving them a device. Okay. And just remember that a quiet child is not always a healthy child. Just because the child is, for me, I'm working in school. I don't always gauge my class being quiet as they're learning. It's not always that way. So just because the child is leaving you alone and you're not saying, does not mean that the child is healthy. All right, that's the first thing. So stop giving the children the screen as the way to stop them from crying or from solving their boredom. Then the second thing to stop doing is stop fighting the screen without offering an alternative. You are angry that they're spending too much time on it, and many times they mirror what we do. My siblings and I grew up watching my dad read books a lot, and my siblings and I we read a lot. Do you understand? Even now that there's technology, we still find time to study. We still find time to read books, not just fiction.
Please, let's give us some time to come back online. So, or you can please gather your questions. I'm sure you have a lot of questions. Please, you can start dropping your questions in the chat room from the first speaker and what the second speaker has said so far, so that we can start picking them. Thank you.
I think I zoned. Where did you stop hearing me at so that I can go over it again? Because I think it kicked me out of the call. Let me know you can hear me, please, and let me know where you stopped hearing me. Anybody in the comments?
All right, you stopped.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I stopped where?
Okay, you stopped at where you were talking about point number 2, that required child. Okay, sorry.
Okay, it's not always
fighting the screen without giving an alternative.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. All right. So I was just saying that that you cannot take away the device and then not because nothing exists. You cannot leave it. You cannot leave them to just take away the screen time and then not. Okay, sorry about that again. It keeps kicking me out. But yeah, so as I was saying, just make sure that you have a healthy alternative to give these kids, and don't just say, oh, you're using your screen too much. What are you giving them in place of the screen time? And then let us please stop being hypocrites. Yeah, that's number 3. Don't yell, get off your phone while you're also always scrolling. Your thumb has been exercising so much because you have been scrolling a lot. You know, even when you're having dinner with your children, the time that you're available to, you know, when we're present to have dinner with our children or lunch or whatever, we are not even present. We're not having conversations with them. We don't listen to them. I've heard children complain a lot that their parents are there but are not there because they are not, they are there physically, but their mind is somewhere else. They're not mindful. They're not present. Okay. So what are the things that we can start to do? No, I call them the 5 C's, the 5 C's, the 5 C's framework. So the first thing is control. Be firm and have digital boundaries. For example, no devices at dinner time, or no devices at bedtime in the bedroom or whatever, from 10 p.m. or from 9 p.m., whatever the bedtime that they have. Okay, you cannot use your screen. Like even as an adult, my phone, I put up my data once it's 10 p.m. because I don't want to be so addicted to phones. And when I'm doing work, I put my phone away from me so that I'm not distracted. Of course, I use my phone. Of course, I go online. Of course, I use these apps. But when there's things to do, I cannot allow this device, you know, take my entire mind away. So let them show that you are the parent, you're in charge. There should be some structure in the home. Okay, and be consistent. The thing about kids is that if you say that you will do something, please do it. Don't say, oh, we'll do this, and then you start today and then you stop tomorrow. Be consistent. All right. So instead of shouting and yelling, just say, okay, it's 7 p.m., which means screen time is over for the night, and stick to it. And every day say it. For example, on school nights, no screen time. But from Friday to Sunday, you can have, you know, you can decide, you can do what you want to do, but it will be regulated. All right. And then the third C, so the first C I mentioned is control. The second C is consistency. The third C is connection. The truth about it is that most children don't actually need faster Wi-Fi. They just need more eye contact. They need shared laughter. They need active presence. They want their parents to be there. Okay. And if you replace this just giving them access to screens with your presence, it will do a world of good. And the thing about it is that some people have lost so much time. You didn't do it when they were growing up, and then now you're trying to make up, and the kids have learned how to be there without you. And it's not going to be automatic. If you didn't start it when they were much younger, yes, we thank God for grace and we thank God for redeeming the time. But don't wait until these kids are so used to having their friends and their screen and they don't want you around, before you're not trying to make up for not being present. So start being present now. It's never too late to hit the reset button. Okay. And then for content, please audit what they're consuming, not just how long they're consuming. It's not about 30 minutes of screen time. No. What are you doing in those 30 minutes? What measures do you have? I know that we're busy. I understand that we're busy. But if you put systems and structures in place when you're not there, it will help even when you're not present, when you're not actively present. All right. So there's difference between active learning and passive scrolling. Let them, have a book reading list. Like I told you that my dad did that with us. We had a book reading list. You had to complete a particular book at a particular time. You had to have new words. You had to be able to summarize. I used to write summaries for my dad. Like, it was crazy, but it really, really helped us and it made me fall in love with reading, to be honest. I still love to watch movies, but I also doctor what I watch as well. And this all came from kind of training that we received when we were growing up. Okay. So please, even though you are busy, our parents were busy as well, but they tried to make time for us. And even if you didn't experience your active parenting from your own parents, let your children have that testimony about you. Okay. And so in conclusion, I just want to leave you with the single most important truth of this entire session today. Children need your presence more than they need your policing. You can police them from now to next year, but if you are more present, you get the best out of them. And you cannot outsource your child's emotional developments. You cannot outsource it to an AI chatbots or a school. Your teachers are trying, your children's teachers are trying, but they cannot be there for them the way that you would be there for them. I once heard a child say something in a session and it completely broke my heart. Said, my parents are always with me, but they're never really with me. It's so heartbreaking. I know this generation is the first generation of parents that are trying to raise humans in this kind of environment where technology is evolving so fast. It seems like it's evolving faster than human wisdom. So our goal is not to raise children that are merely tech bros and tech sisters. Our goal is to raise kids who can think deeply. Like our first speaker was saying, many kids don't even know how to brainstorm anymore. They don't know how to process things anymore. You ask them a question, the next thing they're looking for is ChatGPT. And like he said, schools are actually trying to reduce screen time. And so even in the school that I work, some classes, you don't use your computers at all. You have to go back. We're going back to the traditional textbook, group work. We want people to collaborate. We want to teach them 21st century skills, but not everything is digital literacy. So we're going back to them using their hands, writing again. Some kids' handwriting is so terrible because they've not really paid attention to that in the past couple of years. And even conversation, normal meeting people, talking with them, people have social anxiety because they're not taught these things even at home. It's crazy and something that we need to also pay attention to. All right. So as we're praying and we're making the money, let's remember that our presence is also very important. Okay. So we need to teach them, we need to help them to regulate their emotions, to think deeply, to build meaningful relationships. And yes, this can all happen even in the digital world, digital space. All right. So thank you so much for listening. And the floor is now open for questions and comments. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you so much. Everyone, please, can you appreciate our speakers today, Dr. Agabi and Vanessa Inyang? Brilliant. It's time for questions. If you have any questions, comments, reactions, so can I see your hands up? Please, questions. Thank you so much. All right, Tad, Wisdom, please go ahead.
All right. I want to sincerely appreciate the two speakers, Dr. Bayero and then Counsellor Vanessa. My first question is as towards to Dr. Bayero. You made mention about monitoring. I want to ask, at what age would monitoring be called invasion? And then in the part of the parent, are there tools one could use on devices for kids, particularly the ones who are teenagers already, to protect them from harmful substances or bad content online. And then to Counsellor Vanessa, my question is, you talked about content during almost when you're rounding up. We have a lot of bad content, even as adults, even when you don't want to see them, they pop up, like pornography and different things, fake news, violence, you see them. So at what point do you protect your child's innocency without raising naiveness in them? Or do you wait for them to talk to you about it? Thank you.
Hello?
Yes, doctor, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. Is it Vanessa first or I come second?
Doctor, you can go ahead.
Okay. With the permission of Madam, I'm told to go first. Okay, your question was ways to monitor kids online. Am I right?
Yes, sir. And
Okay.
the second part of it is, at what age does monitoring become invasion?
Okay. First, in really, let me speak from experience, because the second speaker, was very dramatic to make you understand what she was talking about, because she was making references even to herself and all of that. Let me to a similar line. To monitor, although there are technological tools that you can use, to monitor your kids online. But the challenge has always been, and is still, that the kids are smarter than their parents. If you set a line using a particular app, okay, so that you can always check the website they went into, the kind of apps that they use and all that, experience has also shown that these kids, because they are pretty smart, they can boycott those things. When they use them, they will clean up before you come. And there's no way, if you do not have sufficient knowledge, or I use this word, appreciable knowledge, to check what they have done, you will never know. So the key to that is parents should be intentional about unlearning and relearning. There's a paradigm shift. And when there's a paradigm shift, you can't go back. We are moving forward. There's no way yesterday will become today. So we must unlearn, relearn, and come to the fold of our kids in such a way that we are able to spread conversation. Communication is very, very important, because your kids can open up to you. This is what I use. This is what I use. This is what I use. I have an experience of my son telling me that I should not mind his mom. His mom does not know how to use computer. This is what I do. This is what I do. So even though she's monitoring me, but this is how I boycott everything. Okay? So first is communication. Have a very good relationship with your kids. They will open up to you. And then secondly, update your skills. Don't be too busy. Don't be too busy. Update your skill, unlearn and relearn the new things so that you can understand, how they are navigating the space. And then the other one is age. These differ from different countries. Okay. For instance, Australia is proposing 16. The European Union is proposing 14. Okay. The US is debating but between 14 and 16. Okay, so, but at home, as a parent, you should know how smart your kids are, maybe the time they return from school. Like I do sometimes, I will just tell everyone, if you have returned from school, please drop your phone, go have your meal, have your bath, return to the living room. All of us, we are going to have a movie day today. Or let us read. What did you study in school? So we go through all of that, and then maybe around 7 o'clock, they go have their 1 or 2 hours with their screen time, and then they go sleep. Okay? So it is you that will have to set the standard that you think it is good for you, because this debate about what age should it be, is still a major issue. I can tell you also from experience and interacting with people at various, fora and all of that. Oh God, serious. There are so many of our graduates today in this generation that cannot write a very good sentence in English language or write a very good paragraph. They cannot think critically. They can't. Because social media has taken that part of their mind that makes them reason properly, write properly. And so today you want to write a book, you can just use your AI and write your book. Okay, so those things, like a research that just came up, that this generation, we are breeding a generation that is worse than generation that we came from. The generation is very dumb because they can't think critically. You can't just pick a phone if you have a son or a daughter, take her phone, give her a question, tell her to write it. You will see what will happen. You will be shocked. So, finally, you can set age at your home, okay, in your house, you can set age, because that age is still a subject of debate. Thank you.
Wisdom, could you repeat the question again? Because you said, how do we, I think you talked about content also. Can you just ask it again so that I answer correctly?
All right, Vanessa.
Yes, please.
I said, how do you protect a child's innocency without making them be naive when it comes to content? Or do you have to wait for them as a parent to speak to you about it?
Oh, that's a very brilliant question. I believe that you should have the conversations with them before other people start to have the conversations with them, right? You have an idea, the kind of values and the kind of things you want your kids to know or engage with, right? For example, you have an idea, kind of friends you want your kids to have. So what many parents do is that they assume that as a child grows, they will happen on the knowledge, but you cannot expect them to produce character traits that you have not taught them already. Do you understand me? So I feel like it's important that when you know that they can start, it's amazing what children who are 2 and 3 already know. It can start to introduce things like empathy, things like boundaries, things like friendship dynamics, things like the kind of character traits that you want them to have. You can start to introduce them as they start to grow. And I don't think it's safe for you to, some things that will come to you about, but it will be based on what they already know, what you've already taught them, and the kind of environment you've made available for them to be able to ask the questions. Can you still hear me? I don't know if you can still hear me.
Hey, I can hear you.
Yes, so some things they'll come to you with, but when it comes to how you want them to grow and be, you have to have a plan for what you're going to introduce in different phases of their lives to them, so that you don't assume that they would happen on the information. And when you, like, for example, things like let me use sex as an example. If you don't teach them about what they need to know early, it's a friend that will tell them, and let's bear in mind that not every parent is parenting, not every parent is raising their children, and so your kids are going to interact with these people example, with these children who are not getting the training at home. And so they should already know these things before they go start interacting with, some, and as they come to you, you can adjust and tweak information, but they should know the basic things that you want them to know from your own value system. And you should introduce them to their own value systems as well before they start interacting with people outside. That's basically what I would say. For some things, they will come to you. You should prepare to be teaching them as they go about things. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Please, do we have more questions? Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Bayero. Thank you, Vanessa. Dear participants, do we have more questions for them? More questions? Please drop your questions, or you can raise your hand. While I'm expecting you to ask questions, I'd like to read out some things I picked out as a parent, which I find very interesting. Children are now better parents in the digital space than we are, meaning our children know more things and they're the ones guiding us digitally. Dr. Bayero said that we need to modulate, not just regulate. Modulate, not just regulate. Another thing that stuck out was what Vanessa said, meaning things are being ingrained in their subconscious mind. And if we do not control, check, grab, those things will permanently imprinted in their memory, in their lives. That was so powerful. So being intentional about what is happening in the digital world, in our children's lives, is very key. If not, if we fail now, say, who bewitched us? Where is the juju coming from? There's no juju anywhere. When we failed to pay attention, we'll be running around later. That's what I took from that. So that we don't stay too long, let me hand over back to you, Wisdom. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ma, for this wonderful section. Dr. Bayero, thank you so much for your time. Counsellor Vanessa, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Like to just ask one question as we round up, and either anyone could answer it. Looking at the technology is not something that will fizzle away anytime from now. It's not something that will go away. It's something that it has a good side and it also has a bad side. We've seen where distant relatives communicate with their grandchildren away. But what I would like to ask is, what are the digital tools we think our children need for the future, so that in as much as we are looking at the negative side, we also look at the advantage for them? What are the digital tools we think we should empower our kids with to prepare them for the future? Dr. Bayero? or Counsellor Vanessa, or any
Okay.
other person could make contribution from the participants.
Okay, I didn't know that was for me. Okay. I didn't know that was for me anyway. They are tools that we use every day, really. As I said in my opinion, is that the essence of this conversation is not to condemn technology, but to promote technology in a way that it is used responsibly for growth, knowledge, and skills. So whatever tool I'm going to mention to you now, you can use it either way. For instance, as a YouTuber, you can be earning like $5,000 to $10,000 monthly. You can even have a faceless YouTube channel. And as a kid of 15 years old, you can create a YouTube channel just talking about kids, talking about familyhood consistently. You can begin by earning $1,000 a month to $2,000 a month. You find out that children are getting richer than their parents, just staying from home. Okay, so if it is education, YouTube is actually making university education less relevant as it used to be, except for specialized courses. So you can't say you want to study mass communication and all of those things that YouTube will not give you and all. So then even the Facebook that you have, even with the YouTube Studio and all of those things can teach you a lot of skills, quite a lot of skills that can keep your children busy. So it's not a question of DS will say activate parental control. No, it's not that way. But there are tools that can, like you say, authenticate, self-authenticate, second authenticate, all those kind of things. But those things are always broken because there's no system that is fail-proof. So someone will always break it. So as I would say, it's purely communication as a parent, unlearn and relearn, so that you can guard your words, on the right path. Just imagine your kid knows YouTube very well. He or she knows how to place adverts on Facebook. He or she knows how to place adverts on Instagram. Okay, he or she knows how to teach people how to talk in such a way that they can make money from it and learn, from it. So these are the tools that can keep them very, very busy. And then again, AI. People always say that AI will knock off so many jobs. No, what will knock off jobs are people who knows how to use AI to progress. If you do not know how to use AI for your business to transit, to grow your businesses, to grow your skills, to grow your knowledge, then people like you will knock you off, not AI. AI is there for usage, either for good or for bad. Okay? So if you want to use AI to kill yourself, well, AI will guide you. But if you want to use AI for educational purposes, for skills, for development, for knowledge, AI is best suited for that. So there are so many tools of that nature, that you can keep on. That's why I keep stressing that as a parent, do not leave it all to your words. Ensure that you also relearn so that you can understand what your kids need, what your kids are doing online. They become your friends. They can open up to you what they are doing or what they intend to do or what their friends are telling them online. Because you are a parent locally, but they also have parents who are not within your space. Perhaps you are in Nigeria, the parent that he or she trusts most is in Cambodia. So what do you do about that? The parent that he or she trusts is someone who believes in one candidate doctor whatever in China. So you have to stay with your kids, earn their trust, stay with them, learn from them, learn with them, and then you also on your own learn, and what they are doing, do with them. Because there's no one that is too old to learn the new skills these days. Oh boy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Bayero. Truly grateful. All right, because of time.
I think I'll just add briefly.
You have something to say?
Okay, that's fine. Yes, I wanted to just say that when it comes to our children and our teenagers, it's not the goal is not to lock them out of the digital space, right? Like there are so many tools that they can use. So for a child who has that kind of brain power to spend 4 hours, 5 hours, instead of consuming other people's content, there are so many tools that you can use for them to create their own content. So they can start creating their own games. I have kids who code. They create websites for other people. They are still in secondary school. They are making money already. They create games for their classmates. One of my students asked me the other day that, "Mom, creating a game, would you download my game when I'm done?" I said, "Of course." So we do this to encourage them as well. We have people who are creating food games, and educational games and stuff like that. So there's so many apps that they can use for these things. So many tools that they can use. I think a few of them that I'm seeing here are the ones for programming and computational thinking. So it helps them. They even have the one for kids as low as 5 years, 5 to 7 years, 8 to 12 years. They have all this gamified learning, and they can create these things for themselves. Okay, and it has made it easy for us. So you can just go online and check some of these things, and you can find the information readily available. Then you have the one for AI and data literacy. Those ones, they help with them. They help you to access age-appropriate tutorials on how AI works, basically, and then how to build different things. You have things like Roblox. Kids use these things to just play other people's games, but they can actually be on these same things and create things for other people to consume. Then you have the one for education, the one they can use. You have UNICEF has one, I think, on digital education or so, and it helps them to provide localized training. And some of my kids created this website it works offline or so, and it gives you access to things that you don't even think about. So there's so many tools online. So I think it depends on what you want to teach them per time. Okay, it depends on what you wanted to consume per time, and they have apps for those things. You have primaries to create. So the goal is for them to not just consume other people's content. So when Dr. Bayero mentioned YouTube, for example, some kids are online almost all day watching YouTube videos of other people's ideas. You can actually teach them how to, put stuff together and help other people as well. So I think that's just what I wanted to add to that. So they move from being consumers to being creators and producers. There's somebody I follow online. He's a young boy. He makes music. He uses software he creates music. This boy is not more than 10 years old, and he's been doing this for more than 4 years. So I think it's just what we expose our kids to. We're more consumers than we are producers, and we need to shift from that mindset. So ultimately, it's a mindset shift that we need to take place so we can actually do better and help them do better as well. Thank you. That will be all from me.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah, if I may just add a little bit, if you don't mind, I appreciate what Madam Vanessa said. Like I've always said, in this conversation, that communication with our world is very, very important, because coding or no coding, building apps and all of those things. Facebook is an app. YouTube is an app. Instagram is an app. So if you understand coding, you can build any of these apps, okay? But you can build an app, depending on the kind of people you mix with. For the wrong reason, you can build an app that controls a drone to go track people. You can build an app that controls, a drone to deliver food to people. So that's why I said it depends on the community that your kids work with. And that is why I said parent to children relationship. Communication is very important, and be the friend of your friends and that too understand what they are doing, understand what is happening in the cyber space in such a way that you can help them use this technology responsibly for development.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bayero.
Thank you.
All right. On behalf of TadFoundation, I would like to sincerely appreciate our distinguished speakers for sharing their time, knowledge, and valuable insight with us today. Dr. Bayero Agabi and Counsellor Vanessa Inyang, thank you for enlightening us so much on the importance of parenting in this digital age. It's such a timely topic. Your contributions have truly added depth and practical value to this conversation. To our moderator, Dr. Ikalone, I will learn how to pronounce your name properly. We sincerely appreciate your excellent coordination and guidance throughout this section. And to all our wonderful participants, thank you for taking our time to part of this webinar. Your presence and engagement made this section meaningful. Without you, this section would have really been not worthwhile. Thank you so much for staying up to this point. As we celebrate Children's Day in advance, may we all remain intentional about raising children who are not only digitally aware, but also responsible, balanced, and mentally sound in navigating today's digital world. As TadFoundation, we encourage you to apply the insights shared. Continue this conversation in your homes, in your social group, in your churches. It's not something that should just end at this point. Once again, thank you all for being part of this enlightening section. I would like us to take a group photograph before we go, and then the recordings will also be shared with every participant, and then it will also be uploaded on our YouTube for access. Thank you so much, Dr. Agabi. In case anyone needs your contact to gain more insight, we will share with them if that is okay. And also, Counsellor Vanessa, in case anyone needs your contact, we will also share that with you. And our able moderator.
That's fine.
If that's okay with you, our moderator, because I saw your profile depth, you are also in that line. So please, thank you. Could we please turn on our video for a group photograph as we end our section? Can we all turn our video? Okay, still few persons are yet to turn on their own. Can we still have more come up? Can we have more? Timothy, good to see you. Zachariah Titus, thank you for staying. Rekia,
thanks for the
thank you. Mrs. Kadiri, thank you for staying. All right, so let me take the group photograph. All right, I've taken it. Thank you so much. We have the presence of our executive director here in the person of Dr. Mrs. Tosin Oluwatosin Dokpesi. Can we just please celebrate her? She's the brain behind TadFoundation, the ED, and also the founder of TadFoundation. Thank you so much, Ma, for all you do for humanity. God bless you. Thank you. And have a wonderful Children's Day celebration ahead. Thank you so much for raising godly seed that will speak over the nations and represent well. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed day.